But carefully look at this movement of desire, so that you yourself discover for yourself the whole nature of desire, how it begins, and whether disciplining desire is not the very act of confusion, disorder. Do you understand all this? Because in this, there is the entity who controls desire, the entity who is separate from desire. Is desire itself not the observer who wishes to change what he observes? I wonder if you feel all this. May I go on with this? Oh. Please, sirs, don't look at me. That's not important. Find out for yourself the actuality of the beginning of desire. Not how to discipline desire. We'll come to that presently. But we are just observing the whole movement of desire. The seeing, the contact, then the sensation, then thought creating the image, which is the beginning of desire. I see your beautiful shirt, good material, well made. Then, if you'll allow me to touch it, there is a certain sensation out of the sensory responses. Then, I want that shirt. Thought says how nice it would look on me with that shirt. That thought creating the image of me in that shirt is the beginning of desire. Clear? Now, the question is, if that is so, which is logically so, there is no question of refuting that. That's a fact. Not because the speaker says so, it's so. If you observe it, it's the movement. And then the question arises, why does thought interfere with sensation? You follow the question? I see you have got a marvelous car that I think I'm quite sure it'll appeal to all of you. Highly polished car. You see it on the road as you pass by. Look at it, go around it, touch it. There is that sensation out of it. Then you imagine you sit in the car and driving it. Then the imagination is the action of desire. Right? Is this clear? Now the question is it possible for thought not to interfere with its imagination? See the car, the sensation, and not thought creating the image of you being in there. You understand? That requires intense alertness, watchfulness. So there is no discipline to control desire, but on the contrary, the intelligence observation of desire is in itself an act which frees the mind from the urgency of desire. I hope you understand all this. Because we have got to talk something much more complex. If this is understood, then we should go and ask, what is fear? What is the origin of fear? Whether the mind, psychological state, can ever be free totally, completely from fear. Not say it is possible or it's not possible. If you say both, either one or the other, that conditions your own state of inquiry. But if there is the intelligent demand, whether the mind, whether a human being, his psyche, his consciousness, can ever be free completely, not partially. Not one day be free of fear, the next day full of fear. But the entire movement of fear, conscious as well as deeply rooted fear, whether it's possible for the human mind to be utterly free of it. Because fear is one of the factors of disorder. Not only desire, but also fear. Most human beings are afraid, either physical fears and psychological, complicated fears. Fears of not fulfilling, fears of not becoming, fears of in their relationship, fears of not having jobs, especially now in this country there are 10 million people unemployed. Fear of darkness, fear of death, fear of the very act of living. There are so many forms of fear. Naturally, as one observes fear, the state of fear, as one goes into it, you can see how fear creates disorder. Fear of being secure and not being secure. Fear of the past, fear of the present, fear of the future. Which we all know. Most of us have experienced some kind of fear or not. Urgently, very deeply, or superficially. When one is afraid, the whole psychological state becomes tightened, strained, you know all that. And